Today's Manna. 가스펠라이프 철치 데니얼 킴 목사가 보내드리는 시간입니다.
Hello to the friends and family of KCBS. This is Pastor Daniel from Gospelife Church, and welcome to today's Manna. In 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9, in the New Living Translation, it says this: Each time he said, "My grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness." So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses so that the power of Christ can work through me. This is a text where Paul is reminding us about his thorn in the flesh. He's talking about a weakness or affliction that Paul begged God to remove. But instead of God taking it away, God responds with something that is somewhat surprising, where God says, "My grace is sufficient for you." The Greek word for sufficient means enough, also meaning fully satisfying. The word for power is the same word used to describe resurrection power. What God is saying is, He's saying, I will not remove your weakness, but I'm going to fill you with my power. Paul does not deny the pain, but Paul reframes it. Paul now sees that his weakness is a doorway for God's strength. There are so many times in our life where you and I grow deeply in our rooted with Jesus Christ, and we still feel spiritually weak. However, Paul's reminder here in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 12 is reminding us that our weakness and our struggle is a doorway, a gateway for God's strength. I want you to take a moment and imagine a cracked clay jar with a candle inside. A flawless jar shows nothing, but the cracks allow the lights to shine through. In the same way, your weaknesses, your cracks, these are where God's light shows up the best. Without these cracks, people might only see you, but with them, they see Him. I want to share with you 3 practical applications for us to take away. Number 1 is for you to stop hiding weakness. Instead of pretending to be strong, you must admit where you're weak, because being vulnerable is an invitation for God's strength to come inside you. I don't know about you, but I have a job where I feel like I have to put on a mask of strength, of resilience in front of other people. And for every different career, or even as a leader of a family, you will face a situation where you have to be the leader, where you think you don't have to be vulnerable. However, in your communication with God, the God who sees the center of your heart, knows your heart and what you're going through. This is why when you're feeling weak, you must not hide weakness and be transparent to God on your current situation. Secondly, start boasting in God and not in you. Don't post your highlight reel and point people to God's grace in your low light moments. That's where your story preaches the best. A lot of the times we have a misunderstanding, thinking that you have to shine your story in order for God to shine. But you must remember that God's grace is always shown in the midst of your weakness. So do not be scared about sharing your weakness or even your testimony of your dark days, because those are the moments when God's grace and God's light is shining upon you. Lastly, lean on God's grace daily. God does not promise to remove every burden, but He promises us that He's going to give us the daily grace. You must be starting your day every single morning saying, God, your grace is sufficient for today. You must remember that you cannot live a single day without God's sovereign grace. You must remember that it is on you for you to proclaim and tell God that His grace and His mercy is enough for the day. I want to ask you a question. What is one weakness that you've been asking God to remove? I want to encourage you to pray that you will rely on God's strength on a daily basis and rely on Him.
지금까지 가스펠라이프 처치의 데니얼 킴 목사였습니다. 성경이나 예수 그리스도에 관해서 더 알기를 원하시는 분은 시카고 기독교 방송 전화 847-583 영원 구원으로 연락 바랍니다.